All right, so here a fresh interview with Travis Kelce and Colin Joe has ended up as a major hit for Ryan Reynolds.
Travis had on Colin Jost, who you'll know is married to Scarlett Johansson, who is Ryan Reynolds' ex. And the fact that Travis unfollowed Ryan Reynolds kind of first was very telling to me. He's already shaded Ryan.
On the May 13th episode of the New Heights podcast, Travis and his brother Jason invited Colin Joe as their guest. When I first learned about this entire thing, it seemed like just another casual visit from Scarlett Johansson's husband. But beneath all of that relaxed vibe, there were quite a few remarks that felt like a sharp insult toward Ryan Reynolds.
Who are also of the plus one fraternity and have this same experience. How nice is it to be the less famous person in your relationship?
Huge relief. Really huge relief.
Well, let's think on that question for a second. Travis Kelce, who is ready to marry Taylor Swift, is asking Colin Joe, husband of Scar Joe, about what it's like to be the less recognized one in a relationship. These are two guys who have built strong careers on their own and are connected to women who are completely ahead of them in terms of global fan base. Now, Colin Frost never paused for a single moment, and he answered with two words saying huge relief. Well, that response is everything because Colin Joe is very secure in his marriage. He doesn't feel threatened by his wife's success. He doesn't battle with her, and he's not ashamed to admit that being second fiddle is actually kind of awesome.
Probably almost approached more because she's less approachable. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I feel like because I'm on TV, I have like a lesser, people are just like, I'm in their living room. So they're just like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
To me, this whole conversation was a lesson in what true manhood really looks like. Colin even told a story about waiting at a passport checkpoint while traveling with Scarlett. The border officer looked at her passport, her actual face, and honestly asked, has anyone ever said you look like Scarlett Johansson? The officer never even realized it was truly her. Colin laughed over that moment because he still finds it amazing. He's not ashamed that people don't know him. He's not upset that his wife is on a far bigger stage of fame than he is. He feels it's all fine. This shows the mindset of a man who feels truly content in his marriage and very grounded in who he is.
Passport, and he'll be like, has anyone ever told you look like Scarlett Johansson? Genuinely. Genuinely asking and not real, even though he's looking at her
name,
because he's like, it would be weirder if it was her, and just give it back to her and not think it's a really kind of.
Travis and Colin have zero issue admitting that they play second fiddle to their partners. They enjoy the fact that they never have to be the center of attention. Travis has mentioned in earlier interviews that he loves being the plus one because he is truly a fan of her music and a fan of art. When the cameras go off, Travis says they both feel like normal people who are in love. That's really beautiful. I mean, that's exactly what a strong partnership looks like. But y'all need to check out this comment. Intoro6. Even though this statement wasn't directed at Ryan, I know exactly what this conversation symbolized. Ryan was likely hearing this discussion from home, maybe walking the floor, yelling inside because Ryan is not part of the secure plus one circle. He is the complete opposite. He's a man who ruined his first marriage because he couldn't accept being the less famous person. He's a man who allowed his jealous actions to damage his relationship with Scarlett Johansson and eventually tear it apart. His actions in his former relationship with Scar Joe are exactly why this podcast interview became such a crushing blow.
So it doesn't surprise me now that he's inviting Ryan's exes and their new husbands on the show to have fun.
The contrast between Colin Joe and Ryan shows everything we need to understand. Colin is truly proud of his wife's success, but Ryan was never able to deal with his ex-wife's success. He needed to be the brightest star in every room he stepped into. And when Scarlett was receiving more attention than him, he definitely didn't like that at all. This entire situation matters for explaining everything about Ryan Reynolds and why this podcast episode is affecting him so deeply.
Ryan Reynolds was controlling. It had always been alleged that this was about Ryan Reynolds. And Scarlett Johansson is not Blake Lively.
Ryan and Scarlett were married for 3 years from 2008 to 2011. During that exact period, Scarlett's star was climbing fast. She was becoming a real global icon, landing huge roles and major praise. I mean, there's no question she was finding her stride in a way that felt truly inspiring for other actresses. And the truth is Ryan, meanwhile, was struggling to find his place as a respected leading man. He had done a few comedies that succeeded, but he had not yet become the Marvel star he would later turn into. There was a gap in their careers, and it created a very toxic atmosphere at home. Ryan was a possessive kind of person, and he simply could not accept being the less famous person in their relationship. He could not divide his ego from his marriage. He could not simply feel happy for his wife's success. It looked like he had to make everything about himself while competing against his own partner.
Like, I've definitely been in relationships where the timing was not right, and I also kind of think you have to recognize when it's not. Obviously, if you know if it's not the right person, it's not the right person, but sometimes it's a good person, but the timing is off, and it's important to be open to that.
Scarlett has hinted at this complicated dynamic in several interviews over the years. She has always been careful, mature, and graceful, never calling Ryan out by name directly, but the meaning behind her words has always been crystal clear to anyone paying attention. In a 2016 interview with Cosmopolitan magazine, she spoke openly about what it takes to make a relationship work. According to her, the logistics of being involved with another actor can be difficult. There has to be a real understanding of how you divide your time, especially when two careers are moving at the same speed. Or even if one person is more successful than the other, that can create challenges too. There can be a competitive energy. That competitive energy is the complete opposite of what Travis Kelce and Colin Jost seem to embrace. Travis and Colin do not battle with their partners. Ryan Reynolds, however, seemed to view his marriage like a constant contest. He looked at Scarlett's huge wins as if they were his personal losses. He could not separate his pride from his marriage. In a 2015 interview with Parade magazine, Scarlett went even further into the mindset of insecure actors. She explained that acting is a very strange world to exist in. It is unpredictable and there will always be one person doing better. She also said it connects deeply to rejection because actors, when they are not succeeding, often feel like nobody wants them. She even said, and I quote, "Marriage takes a lot of effort. It takes a man who is not only secure in the love you share, but secure in what he is happening in his own career." I believe Ryan felt pushed aside by the industry at that time. While his wife was being celebrated by fans everywhere, instead of supporting her and standing beside her, he allowed his jealousy to damage their connection. He let his ego break apart, something that may have survived if he had simply learned to step back and celebrate her success. Scarlett clearly found a major upgrade in Colin Jost. He is everything Ryan was not. He is naturally funny without being cruel. He is secure without chasing attention. He is completely comfortable letting his wife shine brightly. He celebrates her victories instead of feeling threatened by them. Meanwhile, Ryan is now with Blake Lively. Blake is someone who appears to share his strong need for public attention, image control, and personal branding. They are two people who always seem to want the spotlight, who struggle to let the other have a moment alone, and who often treat their relationship like a business deal instead of a true partnership. But the base of Ryan and Blake's relationship is not some sweet love story. It was built on a painful betrayal that Scarlett had to endure. And once you look at the timeline of how everything began, it becomes impossible to ignore.
Together in 2011, after the launch of Ryan Reynolds' movie Green Lantern, which is where he met his now wife Blake Lively. This is where it may start to get messy. Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson broke up in 2011, but he was filming the movie Green Lantern with Blake Lively in 2010. And what's even crazier is that while they broke up in 2011, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds actually got married in 2012.
The story Ryan and Blake have sold to the public is that they were simply friends who went on a funny double date with other people and suddenly realized there was chemistry between them. They have pushed the idea that they were both single and just happened to fall in love after their movie finished shooting. But the real timeline of events shows a far messier picture. It is a story of overlapping relationships, possible betrayal, and carefully hidden secrets that they have spent years trying to keep buried. Let me break down the actual timeline because it all starts on March 15th, 2010, when filming for Green Lantern began in New Orleans. This was the place where Ryan and Blake first met on set and spent months working closely together. By July 2010, Ryan and Blake appeared side by side at Comic-Con to promote Green Lantern, showing strong chemistry while still officially involved with their partners. They were already carrying themselves like a couple in public while both were still in serious relationships with other people. But this is where things became far more complicated. The evidence of their private connection became stronger in September 2010 when Vanson Incorporated was quietly registered in California. That company name was created by blending Ryan's hometown, Vancouver, with Blake's hometown, Tarzana, California. So Van from Vancouver and Zahn from Tarzana became Vanson. Now ask yourself, why would two people who were supposedly just friends and both committed to others create a joint corporate company together? The answer seems obvious. They were already planning ahead. They were connecting business while Ryan was still married to ScarJo. Only 1 month later, in October 2010, Blake ended her 3-year relationship with Penn Badgley. Then in December 2010, Ryan officially ended his marriage to Scarlett, and they announced their separation. Their divorce was finalized in July 2011. But long before that happened, Ryan and Blake had already been seen openly flirting during interviews and promotional appearances.
Bodyguard?
Wow, a huge deal.
Yeah, man. Wow.
In the fall of 2011, the couple announced they had officially begun dating. This was mostly to hide the fact that their private affair on the movie set had started a full year and a half before. But this timeline completely tears apart the sweet origin story they continue to tell. In March 2010, they were acting as love interests on set. By September 2010, they had created a company together. By October 2010, Blake was single. By December 2010, Ryan was single. Yet they did not confirm anything until 2011. That is not how friends behave. That is not how people who are only filming a movie together act. That is how people move when they are hiding an affair. That is how people act when they are cheating on their partners. They create private companies, conceal their relationship, and mislead everyone around them. But when the truth finally surfaces, they try to make it seem like they got together much later than they really did. But the timeline never lies. The proof came out, and everyone paying attention back then knows exactly what truly happened.
They knew it was shady, which is why they've brought in people to help hide the fact it's shady, which is getting out regardless.
The company they created in 2010 was brought back 14 years later in an even messier way. The truth is Vanson Incorporated was an inactive shell company. It gave them a way to handle business and move money away from their respective partners. This company became the clearest proof that their relationship story was never completely honest. Two people who insisted they did nothing wrong did not even wait until their divorces were finalized before starting to merge their lives together. They were already planning a future, blending their business, and treating their affair like a shared venture. But the story of Vanson Incorporated did not stop in 2010. 14 years later, Ryan and Blake pulled out this very same hidden company and used it in her legal battle against Justin Baldoni.
This is just being highlighted in this absolute sham of a Doe lawsuit, which was only done to blindside Justin Baldoni and the other defendants.
This is exactly the kind of unhealthy behavior that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are trying to avoid at every cost, and they're making it very obvious whose side they support. Taylor Swift's highly skilled public relations manager, Tree Payne, has been working nonstop to separate Taylor and Travis from the messy drama created by Blake and Ryan. During the height of this lawsuit, the couple leaned heavily on Taylor Swift to give them credibility and back up their questionable stories. Taylor had been close friends with Blake, but the situation has fully shifted and her team now understands exactly who they had been connected to.
What was it like having Travis Kelce, honest take on Travis Kelce as a host?
Fantastic. I hope
By connecting Travis Kelce with Colin Joe on a public platform, Taylor Swift's team is delivering a strong message to the world. They're stepping away from Ryan's circle. They're choosing to align with the current husband of Ryan's ex-wife. They are picking the secure, mature, and grounded couple over the lawsuit-driven pair. Travis Kelce had earlier made the intentional decision to unfollow Ryan Reynolds. For months, I kept wondering about the real reason behind that distance. I tried to understand what happened, But the entire picture became completely clear when Travis brought Colin Joe onto his podcast. Colin is not just a well-known comedian. He is also the husband of Scarlett Johansson. And by inviting Colin onto his huge platform as a guest, Travis made a powerful statement that everyone could recognize. Colin gave this interview only a week after Blake Lively settled everything with Justin Baldoni. Right when the news was still fresh, right when people were discussing how Blake's case had been torn apart and she had basically lost it all, Taylor Swift's future husband brought Colin on to highlight the exact opposite of what Ryan Reynolds stands for.
Gossip Girl alum may not get an invite to her once close friend Taylor Swift's upcoming wedding to Travis Kelce, according to
The clearest proof of where the real power stands in this new Hollywood era is the guest list for Taylor Swift's upcoming wedding. This is expected to be one of the most exclusive, most anticipated, and most watched celebrity events of the year, and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are definitely not going to be there. Taylor and Travis have faced constant, relentless media attention ever since they started dating in 2023. Privacy remains their top priority. They understand that the second details about their wedding get leaked, the event could be flooded by paparazzi and completely spoiled.
They do not want that.
They want a genuine celebration with true friends, not a full media spectacle.
Herself has been making the calls with her team handling others, informing A-list invitees that they should be ready for a wedding, but not giving away the details yet.
To prevent any leaks, Taylor is using an old-fashioned, highly private method for inviting guests. She is fully skipping traditional save-the-dates. She is not mailing printed invitations. She is not sending text messages, and she is not using any kind of social media. Instead, Taylor is personally placing direct phone calls to her A-list friends and celebrity guests to share the details. This clever invitation strategy makes sure that only trusted friends get the information. It removes the risk of a paper trail or a leaked message reaching the press. Taylor is serving as her own gatekeeper, managing the outreach completely on her own. But the rumors and public clues point to a harsh reality for Ryan and Blake. Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on social media. He brought Scarlett Johansson's husband onto his podcast, praising the exact type of relationship Ryan ruined with his jealousy. It seems very clear that Colin Joe and Scarlett Johansson will likely receive one of those private calls from Taylor Swift. They are the trusted couple that Taylor and Travis want close to them on their special day. Colin and Scarlett reflect everything positive about Hollywood relationships. They do not feel the need to constantly perform for cameras. They simply live their lives and allow their work to speak for itself. I personally think Ryan and Blake will be sitting at home wondering where everything went wrong. They will be watching the media coverage from their couch, asking why they were left out, and wondering what happened to all their friendships, power, and influence. But it is not surprising at all. It is simply the natural result of their actions. They built their image on secrets and a willingness to crush anyone who stood in their way. And now the people who truly have class, honesty, and real confidence have finally drawn a line.